Stranger Things 3 the game feels like a callback to licensed games. A new summer blockbuster would be released, and with it would come the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 release. Stranger Things 3 the game is no different. With the release of the new season comes a retro-inspired adventure game for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. While I wouldn't say that this game is a replacement for watching Stranger Things 3, it does retell the story of the third season, albeit in a much more bite-sized package. If you're a super fan of the show, this is something you should tackle after watching Season 3 and see how the game treats some pivotal moments. In a way, it's an abridged Season 3, and for that same reason, I'm going to refrain from showing any of the later parts. The story contains a total of 8 chapters following the 8 episodes of Season 3. While there are some side quests that elaborate on some elements from the show, the total game can be beaten in about 5 to 6 hours. Story elements are told through either in-game text or actual missions. For example, one scene has Mike buying a gift for Al that in return becomes a fetch quest in the video game. Some story elements translate better than others, but overall this is an okay companion to watching the show. Not so much a replacement nor something I'd say you can jump into without watching Stranger Things. Stranger Things 3 feels like a retro-style Diablo game. You make your way through the different parts of Hawkins, playing as one of the 12 playable characters reliving the events of Season 3. Each character can attack, has a special ability, and can block incoming attacks. Progressing through the story, new characters will join your group, bringing along their own abilities. Dustin can hack open keypads, and Lucas can break up large rocks, for example. Like a Metroidvania game, this then opens up new areas to explore, more side quests to navigate, and so on. Despite being a licensed game and all the tropes that come along with the genre, Stranger Things 3 the game puts an effort to offer more than just retelling the story in a new format. Although yes, you'll relive each episode in the form of a chapter, there are a handful of other side activities for you to do as well. Scattered across the open world of Hawkins are gnomes that you can add to your Collect-em-all quest. In addition to that, there are some items that can be crafted into trinkets. These trinkets add stat boosters to your team, acting as some of the RPG elements throughout the adventure. Most of the time, I just found myself completing fetch quests, getting something for a friend or another adult that ran parallel to a scene in the show. In these moments, I'd make my way into an area to fight off monsters and find what I was looking for. Sadly, the combat isn't that complicated, and usually it boiled down to just mashing the attack button as much as I could. If anything, the more challenging moments came down to the occasional environmental puzzles that required more time and effort. They're primarily focused around 2 characters or co-op, and as a result, everything here is 2 players. However, it's not a requirement and you can enjoy this game entirely alone, controlling the second character through the use of D-pad commands on the controller. These were the gameplay highlights for me, but certainly not the most cleverly designed puzzles I've seen either. That overall captures my feelings for this project as a whole. Stranger Things 3 the game has some admirable traits like the attention to detail in the environment, the callbacks to the series, and elaborating on them. However, there's an overall janky feeling to things like the movement of characters, the camera, and the awkward loading times when you move between environments. Add to that the bare minimum feeling combat, and you end up with an adequate feeling game, but not much beyond that. There's a lot of attention to detail with Stranger Things 3 the game. For one, it maps out Hawkins and it lets you see just where everything is in conjunction with the events in the show. Character portraits look great and mesh together well with the pixelated environment. That effort and attention to detail begins to fall apart though once you explore that environment. It's quickly made apparent just how much of everything is reused assets across the different areas. That ends up coming off as lazy or uninspired, and along with the repetitive combat, well, the charm of it just being a companion adventure starts to wear off. Just like the series, you'll hear a lot of synth music throughout your time exploring Hawkins. It doesn't really seem tied to anything though, as the same music continued to play in different map locations. As a result, it helped make a lot of the background music feel forgettable despite being some solid renditions of the songs from the show. The lack of voice acting coming from a retro-inspired game like this should put its music in the forefront of the sound design, and here it just seems to fade into the abyss. Again, that's not me knocking the quality of the songs, but rather just the way they were implemented into the gameplay. Stranger Things 3 the game is an okay companion to the Netflix series. It elaborates on some aspects of the newest season while recreating other scenes in new interesting ways. It's not the greatest execution though, as the overall project feels a bit janky in its movement and camera controls. It's not a great game, just an adequate one for those truly diehard fans of the show. Even then though, I would recommend waiting for a sale on this one.